What is up, y'all? Welcome back to episode, what is this, 17
Yes,
of the
sir.
Day2Day podcast. So excited. There's so many episodes now. I'm like losing track. But so excited to have y'all here. You know, we got the Christmas spirit going, the Christmas pillows, the
About to be
Christmas
Christmas
tree.
already.
We're getting into it, man. It's good. It's good. Christmas, best time of the year. No, so I'm joined here by my 3 guests today. If y'all want to go down, just introduce yourself. I know y'all have done this before, but just so the first time listeners can know who y'all are.
Hi, I'm Ella.
I'm Elisa.
I'm Jonathan. Or Stuart.
Yeah, Stuart. I was Jonathan kind of caught me off guard. I forget that's your real name. No, but yeah, so excited to have you all here. You know, like we said, it's Christmas time. I feel like the topic of this episode is really like, you know, being a light in the world. You know, Christmas lights. I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. So I know for my family, we like, well, just kind of preface. When do y'all put up the Christmas decorations, like the Christmas lights? Like, what month does that start?
Like 2 weeks before Christmas.
Really?
Right after Thanksgiving.
Right
Yeah,
after,
me too.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
my family's like that too. We start putting up the Christmas decorations. Like we go to the storage unit, we get out the boxes, and we're ready. Like right after Thanksgiving, almost. Yeah, it's far. Do y'all like take time to do it, or you do it like all in one day type of thing?
It's different every year.
It's different every year.
I don't know. My family's always very busy, and so we'll try to like decorate the Christmas tree as a family. But I'll have soccer practice. My brother will have a game or something like that. I don't know.
That's real.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. My dad's just real like, hey, we have the stuff, let's get it up like now. So, no, we'll go, dude, like recently, because we like, he kind of made it a family thing. Before, you know, me and my brother were young, we really wouldn't help. Like, we'd put the ornaments on like the tree, and that would be that. But like now we, you know, set up like, we have like a little entertainment center at the house, like the Christmas tree. Do y'all put up Christmas lights or no? Like the lights themselves?
My dad does it outside the house, but not really inside.
How long do those stay up for? Honestly.
Probably till like February.
Bro, that's what I was. We had a year where we put them up. I think it's honestly the last year we put up like actual Christmas lights. They were on literally year round. Like we didn't take them off. Like I just remember my dad putting them up. Like he got the ladder, put them all up, and honestly they might still be up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't like really looked, but yeah, those Christmas lights stay on year round. Is that how y'all are too, or?
Well, there's one guy in my neighborhood. He's never taken them off. I've never seen him off his house.
That's so real.
Yeah.
That's our neighbor.
That's real. Because it's like, it's a process, man. Like, it's a process to go up on the ladder and, like, you know, do the little nails and then hang them. So to go
Yeah.
back up, it's like.
Yeah, and like I see my neighbors putting up all the inflatables. I'm like, hello?
Inflatables?
Yeah.
That's like a new thing.
There's
That's
so
crazy.
many inflatables and like all these Christmas lights on their trees too.
Real extra.
Like, how do you have time for that?
Bro. Like, I don't got time for that. Heck no.
No.
I feel like whenever I own my own home, it's just going to be Christmas tree and then that's that, bro. I'm not going to do too much. No, but yeah, like Christmas time. Do you guys like drive around too to see the lights, or is that not something that people do anymore?
Still do that. Yeah.
People still do that?
Sometimes. Yeah, I do it sometimes.
Yeah, I've never done that in my life. I know like
Seriously?
that's something.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. Like like listening to Christmas music
It's
with
just
the
fun to
windows
drive.
down
Mm.
and just looking at all of them is so fun.
Maybe I need to try that this year. I
We
don't know.
go to
We'll
the
see.
Christmas house where the lights are programmed to like different Christmas music, and then we tune into the radio station.
That's cool. I've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
that. They like it's tuned to your radio station.
Like they have their own little station, and then
Yeah.
they have like a sign up that tells you which one it is. And then
Really?
it just goes
That's
to the beat of the
cool.
music.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's real extra, bro. Why?
It is.
When did Christmas start getting so extra? I mean, respect, you know. Hey, man, Christmas is the best time of the year, I guess. But yeah, we're talking about, you know, like lights and all this stuff. And, you know, in the Bible, it said so many times, you know, like, hey, we are called to be the light of the world. Like the Lord is the lamp to our feet. You know, he guides our path. So we talk about that a lot, right? And of course, I feel like Christmas lights never get turned off, right? Like, I don't know, at least for my neighborhood, whenever the Christmas lights were up, like they're on. And like you could be going to sleep, and my like room had a window, so I could just see the lights on like through my window, and I'm like, bro, turn the lights off, right? Like I want to go to sleep. But we're called, you know, like I said, to be lights in the world. So what is that like? What does that even mean, right? Because for someone that's kind of barely starting to, you know, get into their faith, kind of that's their first maybe like, you know, couple days, right? Like after like, you know, you've been saved, like. That's something that I feel like is such a big like task that we're called to do. Like, what does that even mean? How would you explain that to someone that's very new in their faith, I guess?
Whenever I meet a person, I could tell like if they're I could just tell by their personalities and kind of just how they act, you know, like how kind they are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to me, being a light in the world is somebody who's like kind to everyone, who likes to give stuff, you know, just somebody like whenever I see them, I think, oh, like I see God in them, you know.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
For me, the being light in the world is somewhere that people can go to.
Oof.
to
Mhm.
talk to
Yep.
when they're going through tough times, because the light
Mm.
brings the darkness out, or takes the darkness out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And I think it's really about living set apart in a way that people see something different about you. I think about the example you used
That's
when
fire.
even when your window was down and even when everything was dark, you could still see the lights. And sometimes you
Mm.
just wanted to go to sleep, but the lights were still there.
Eh.
And I think when we're in our own lives, everything can feel dark. And to people who are so used to the darkness, the light can feel overwhelming. It might
Oof.
feel kind of patronizing in a way. But the
Yeah.
more they get to know the light, the more
Mhm.
they're experienced with it, they're able to see that the light brings out the best in them because
Yeah.
it points them back to Jesus and not to their own
Amen.
darkness.
That's good. That's really good. And I feel like, yeah, like I really like what you said. Like a lot of times it can be like overwhelming. Especially I
Yeah.
know like when I was kind of going through my phase where I really wasn't like involved as with the church, I had like people around me that were like, really involved, and it was kind of like almost like too much. Like, bro,
Yeah.
like chill out. But no, it's like that constant just light, that constant like I see it now, right?
Mhm.
Them constantly like, kind of just shining on me and like, just at the end of the day, like just really speaking into me, like that
Yeah.
helped so much, and it kept me so grounded at that point. And at the time, you don't really notice it, right? But it's like after the fact, you're like, wow, like they were really like a light in my life is how I see it. I know we're just kind of sticking on lights, but yeah, like you at the end, you were a light in my life, right? Like I was very much, I felt like in like a dark time, and just having that person there that was able to speak into me, I'll use my mom as an example.
Mm-hmm.
She was just constantly like, okay, well, I'm praying for you, Devon. Like, and when I hear that, it's like, oh, like, that's what my mom says, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, I had someone that was in my corner, right? Like, I didn't even, like, really realize it. But her just saying that was such a light to me, like, dang, like, my mom really loves me, shows me so much,
Yeah.
she's praying for me, right? I feel like that plays a big role, like, and some people don't realize it. And I feel like even us as Christians, we don't realize the type of impact that can have, right? Just simply like hey, I'm praying for you, man, or like, hope you're doing good, like,
Yes, of
that
course.
sort of stuff. That's just a small way that we can be a light. And I feel like, I don't know, when people say, oh, I'm going to be a light, it's like, oh, I'm going to go to a street corner and I'm going to start preaching the word, right? I'm going to go to a Walmart and just like,
Yeah, but it could be anywhere.
yeah, it can
Locker
be anywhere.
room, yeah.
Exactly.
Locker
And it
room,
can, like, yeah, it can feel awkward.
On the bus, yeah.
Yeah, it can feel awkward, but at the end of the day, it's just, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really good. At least I like that. So we kind of talked about it. So especially, like I said, this is really geared towards like people that are kind of barely coming into their faith, or even people that have been in the faith for a while, but they're kind of like a little bit scared to take that next step, like to try and be a light to others. What advice, or what would you say to someone who feels like, well, I can't be a light to others? How would you kind of combat that? Or have you ever felt that, like at a time in your life where you couldn't be a light to someone? What do y'all think about that one?
I've definitely felt that before, especially when I was a new Christian. And I just kind of felt like I was just embarrassed, I was scared of what people would think of me if I would say, hey, you want to come to church with me? Hey, can I pray for you? It's just like sometimes it's really hard to say that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And whenever it's just talk to God about it,
Yeah.
Ask how you can be a vessel in someone's life, and you just need to have confidence, and God will give you that confidence, It's just,
Yeah.
I know it's hard at first, but once you start being like trying to be the light,
Yeah.
no matter how small the light is, no matter how big it is, you don't have to. I feel like what people think is that you have to make this big grand gesture.
Yeah. 100%.
And if you're in the darkness, any source of light will be so good.
Yeah.
It's not like, have you heard of the verse about planting a little mustard seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll
Yeah.
grow to a big tree,
Yeah.
It's really anything, any sort of little thing that you can do to help someone's life would be just so impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Also for the when you can't feel that you can be a light, I used to feel that when I started going to school last year, that I can't be a light because I still sin, I'm not good enough.
Hey, speak, bro.
But
Heck yeah.
Christ forgives you for everything. So
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter if you sin or not, you're still saved
Yeah.
after becoming a Christian, and you can still be a light for others even
Amen.
if you
Yeah.
don't feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And God definitely uses our weaknesses to magnify His glory and His light.
Amen.
And
Yeah,
I think
that's
a lot
good.
of times, especially as I've gotten older, I've noticed that people have come to me asking for advice, not because I'm perfect, but because they know that I'm honest about my struggles and they know where my source of light is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times in our lives, we feel like we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we don't have all the right answers. And the truth is we don't. But that's why we point people back to Jesus. And in the moments when we don't feel like we're lights, He is still using us anyway. I think about the Exodus, I think chapter 34, verse 29, when it talks about Moses coming down from the mountain and how he didn't even realize that his face shone. But his face was still shining and everyone around him could see the impact that it had. And I think a lot of times as we go into dark places, it feels like we're not doing enough, that we're not good enough, but God just wants to speak life into you. And when we're connected to the source of light, we'll magnify that light onto others so that people can see that the light of Jesus is always present, no matter what it is you're going through, no matter how hard your circumstances are, and we can hold on to that hope no matter what.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like it all goes back to like, who are we putting our trust in to like, because I can't, and I love how you said, like, all of y'all kind of touched on it a little bit, but like, where am I putting my confidence in to be a light, right? If I'm relying on Devon to be a light to Stuart, right? Like, I'm going to fail every time because, you know, I'm a born sinner, like Romans 5:8, for everyone's born a sinner, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when I put my like faith in myself to try to, you know, and like, again, I feel like we're not called to save anyone. We're in like me having a conversation with Stuart, me having a conversation with you. Our conversation isn't going to save you, right? It's that mustard seed that you said. At the end of the day, all we're called to do is plant that seed, right?
Share the word.
And the Lord's going to do the work. So I love that because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves. Like, I need to save this person with this
you're not
conversation.
saving them.
Exactly, and it's not, man. At the end of the day, it goes back to, are we letting God into those moments? Like, are we trying to make ourselves feel good? Because, hey, at least I had this conversation with this person. Or are we like, Lord, I'm giving it to you, like, just let it be your words, let your light shine through this conversation. So yeah, that's good. That's good.
I think about like in the Bible when it talks about like one person plants the seed, one person waters it, and how God is the one who brings the harvest. And I think a lot of times in life we rely on ourselves to bring the harvest, but we can't bring the harvest because our strength is limited and our light is limited without Jesus. We need Jesus to step in and be the one who brings forth the miracles, who brings forth salvation and transformation. Because when we depend on His strength, then we see how even the smallest little mustard seeds can transform into something that impacts future generations and literally entire family lines as we let that light into Jesus.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that. And I feel like it kind of goes back into like, I love how you said, you know, when we're in a dark world, right? Like even the like smallest light, it's going to grab your attention, right? And I feel like our culture, our world right now, there's just so much information getting thrown from every side. And a lot of it like isn't like good information. Like we've talked about it like on several episodes in the past, right? Like we're just getting told so many different things from like all different angles. And how do we be a light in that, right? So like I guess that's kind of like, how can we be a light in such a dark world, right? Like what are some practical things that we can do that'll just give us that opportunity to like just shine the Lord's light onto
just be there for people.
Just
be there for people when they need you.
I feel like I will have people say I planted the seed, you know. I'll have people say that to me. I'm just like, well, I don't feel like I'm doing enough, you know. But it's really any little thing that you do is just so good, and it doesn't like kind of like what I said before. It doesn't have to be something big. That just any little light that you put in the darkness is so good. Or you could just say, like, let's say somebody posts a video of them like crying or something like that, and you're just like, hey, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk, you know. Be a comfort to people, and be somebody that's trusting. If they tell you stuff, don't go gossiping around. Just be something that people can trust, that people can confide in, you know. That's just like what I'm trying to do more.
That's good.
I think definitely model Jesus to the people you're with. And we model Jesus by knowing who Jesus is, spending time in His Word, praying constantly, because then we see the ways He's impacted us, the way He's our comforter, the way He's our provider. Exactly, and people notice that. And I think when we're able to model that through the gifts and talents that He's given us, whether through speaking or maybe you have a specific like talent, and being able to use that to serve people rather than to build up yourself or to take pride in your gifts, that's a great way to share your light, because you're not trying to pull other people down. You try to uplift them and bring them closer to Jesus.
That's good.
Amen.
I feel like it all goes back to like, like I said, I go back to this, my favorite verse of all time, Romans 5:8. While I was still a sinner, Christ died for me, right? And in Christ's death, we are called to, model, Christ's action. We'll never reach that because, Christ was perfect, the only one and true, like, perfect person who came and died for us, right? We can't ever reach that, but hey, we can model it the best way we can. And in doing that, we become a light to others, right? Like I said, treating your neighbor, like, love one another like how you love yourself, right? I feel like that's the biggest way, and that's something I try to live by daily, right? Like, no matter what your background is, no matter where you come from, no matter like what you're going through right now, I'm gonna love you like how I would want to be loved, right? And I feel like when you give someone that like respect, I feel like at the end of the day, just like when you give someone that, it just goes to show like how much like Christ has already moved in our life. I feel like, because I feel like everyone nowadays, it's just so much division, and like everywhere you look, like if you don't believe what I believe, then we can't be friends. Like,
we don't need to be like that.
Exactly. And it doesn't. We're called to love each other. Like I love
your neighbor. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amen.
I'll love like the next person, just like, because I think it's, I know what I went through and I know where I came from, and it's like all sin, no one sin is greater than the other, right? We're all sinners, but hey, Christ knew that. He still chose to come and die for us, right? And at the end of the day, like, we just got to model that love that Christ had for others.
Yeah, and like you never know what someone is going through. I feel like that's such a big thing that people forget.
Yeah.
And everybody feels alone, and I feel like everybody should have somebody that they can be a comfort, like that's comforting to them.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And Jesus provides that, So looking to Jesus is such a good thing. Looking for people who know Jesus is such an important thing, because there's somebody that you can trust. And if you feel like you can't trust anybody, trust in God,
Yeah, that's
he'll,
good.
He'll
He's guiding
bring
us.
bring people that you can trust in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it all goes back to, like I mentioned earlier, we like, not only do we have to be lights to people, but we need people shining on us, right? We need that constant, like, I know our head pastor here, Pastor Chris, he said it so perfectly, like, we can't pour into others without getting poured into, because if we keep pouring into others, eventually, like, we're going to empty out. And that's when, like, burnout, that's when people can start, like, really questioning stuff. If we're not constantly getting poured into, then how can we expect to continue to pour into others?
Exactly.
And when he said that, it blew my mind. That was so like so real, and it kind of goes back into that, like, how can we expect to shine on other people if we're not allowing people to shine into us, right? So I feel like that's just so big, because we can all, like, kind of goes back to, well, I need to do everything. I need to be the person to have this conversation. Like, the Lord calls me to be a light, right?
Yeah.
And that's true, but at the same time, like I said, we can't do it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, who are we trying to glorify? Are we trying to glorify God and His kingdom, or are we trying to glorify ourselves?
And we can either surround ourselves with people who project darkness onto us, or we can surround ourselves with people who project light onto us.
I like
And
that.
as we learn
Preach.
from people with light inside of them, we're able to grow in our own faith and share even more light with others right where we are at.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I guess kind of, you said it, like, right where we're at. So where can I be a light, right? Like, super practical, because, I mean, we're at a church right now, right? It's super easy to be a light to others. Like, if Stuart comes up to me, hey, bro, I'm really struggling with this, it's easy for me to be a light to him, because I know he's a Christian, right? It's not like you said, it doesn't make me nervous, it doesn't make me anxious, because I know we both know where we're coming from at the end of the day, right? But we're not always in church, we're not always in a church setting. So where, like, how can I go about, like, being a light to others, and where can I do that?
I guess on the bus or in the locker room.
Yeah.
Anywhere, like, I guess after a game.
Yeah.
Let's say your buddy didn't do so well defending a goal or something.
Yeah.
And they're feeling real down on themselves. You could lift them up in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want somebody thinking about that all the time.
Yeah, facts.
And school, we're at school every day,
Yeah.
All, like,
That's
the
our
people
biggest
watching
mission.
are at
Heck
school
Yeah.
every day. We only get 2 days off, and
Yeah.
it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we get so comfortable with the people in our school and our friend group and stuff like that. And just, yes, we go to church and there's a light there.
Yeah.
But then right when we get to school, that light's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we go back to our sinful ways, because that's...
Like two lives.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what the people, like, that's what we know,
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the trend, that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
But do you, like, there is such an important way to be a light in school, even if it's just, like, just talking about Jesus, even just a little bit, or be like, hell yeah, I went to church. I went to church yesterday and it was so fun, like, it was so powerful.
Just letting it be known.
You
Heck
could
yeah.
you can come with me,
Mm.
At the school is so important, especially with your really close friends. that's because you're comfortable with your
Yeah, and
friends,
you're
you know.
seeing them all the time.
And
yeah.
it might be hard to say, like, to call them to be a Christian, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and if they don't listen, then that's
At the end of the day, we're just planting the
That's-
seed. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
their problem.
I
That's
feel
not.
like that's good. Like, don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Because hey, you can talk to someone. At the end of the day, like, you can't force them to be a Christian, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people, especially like in our culture now, like, and the way people see Christians is they're like, oh, well, I don't like that person because they're shoving Jesus down my throat,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? It's like, no,
Yeah.
we're not called to do that. We're
Mhm.
called to. I feel like that goes back to like, who are we trying to like glorify, like God or me?
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
oh, I saved that person, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's,
But it's-
like Galatians 1:10. We're here to
Mhm.
glorify God, not the wills of man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you do find somebody like that who's just forcing you and stuff like that, then they are not looking to God because
Mm.
they're focused on themselves and their reputation,
Mm.
not finding the reputation in Jesus.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like
And
at the end of the day, just kind of, oh, my fault.
Oh,
no,
no,
you
you-
go. I've been yapping too much. This is you.
No, I was gonna say, I think about the Pharisees with even just the coming of Jesus and
Yeah.
how they have known about Jesus and they've read the text for so many years, and yet they still missed out because they were so focused on the religious aspect of just following the rules, just to
Dang.
elevate themselves instead of
Cooking,
bringing up
cooking,
people
cooking.
for Jesus. And so I think it's so important to be like the disciples who weren't perfect, who made
Mm.
mistakes, but still learned from the mistakes because they trusted in Jesus
Yeah.
and walked with people. And I think it's so important not to just run our race well, but to bring people alongside us to
Yes.
run the race with us so that
Exactly.
we can press forward and finish our race strong with our eyes fixated on Jesus.
That's
Mhm.
good. Wow.
Amen.
And Christianity, I don't see it as a religion. I see it as a relationship with Jesus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because there's all this religious stuff that can go
Yeah.
into being Christian, like going to church, praying, but God
the
says,
center of it's the relationship with the
Exactly.
Lord.
yeah,
Yeah.
God says that
Yeah.
even doing all those works, but not having a personal relationship
Yeah.
with the Lord, then like if you never knew Him, you have to be
Yeah.
able to know Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our works don't save us. That relationship with Him does.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's good. Wow, y'all killed it. This was fun. I want to keep going. I wish we could do this for like an hour, man.
know,
This is
that'd be
such
fun.
good
This is
conversation. Oh, y'all are fire, man. This was such a great episode. I'm so glad y'all were here and we were able to talk about this. I hope someone at home, even just one person, could get some sort of encouragement to, allow them to be a light, in the lives of their friends, in the lives of their families, in the lives of their schools, right? So yeah, dang, we could go on for an hour, bro. Oh, we could go on for an hour. This is so good. This is so good. But yeah, so excited. So this is the first episode y'all are seeing. So happy you guys finally tuned in. Go watch our other episodes that we've dropped. We have a couple more dropping after this. And yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Oh, subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah,
If you're
subscribe
not.
to the
Are you
YouTube.
subscribed to the YouTube?
Yes, I am.
Are you subscribed to the YouTube?
Yes, I am.
Are
You guys need to
subscribed?
subscribe to the YouTube. Whatever
Don't
camera.
lie. I see it in your face.
I don't have an
That's
account.
crazy.
I don't
No,
have
but
an
hey,
account.
subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. So happy to be here. And yeah, love y'all. Take care. Have a great week.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.